All right, hooligans, drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me and hear me. Life's hard for like no reason. No reason. Nobody wants to die, but everyone wants to be dead. This is like one of those situations. Let's see if we got ones in the chat. There we go, MC. Appreciate you. Let me see. Let's get X pulled up. Next thing you know, people be bitching because there's too many notifications. It's not my fault. See ones in the chat. Alright, let's just go ahead and move forward before anything else happens. Holy. What's up, DeRosa? Happy freedom to you. Dropping that one in the chat. Appreciate you, Turbo. Alright, I think we're good. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. We're just going to go ahead and move forward here. This replay is going to be dog shit, but that's okay. Anyways, we were just covering before we had tragic issues. Booker crying his little eyes out about President Trump and Elon Musk for more than 17 hours now, and as I was trying to say before my internet dropped dead, he's got a long way to go before he tries to break the record. He's got like 8 hours left. He'd have to continue bitching in order to break the record for the longest speech. So really he's doing it as a giant publicity stunt that no one cares about. Anyways, like I said, we're going to move forward here. This next one is Musk hints as strangely wealthy members of Congress are the next Doge target. Now, I think this is a good idea because we all know Nancy Pelosi, and she gets talked about a lot in this video. We all know that she does a lot of insider trading, and there's a bunch of corrupt politicians that are doing similar things to make money they shouldn't be making. So now Doge is interested in looking into Congress to see exactly how this is made, and maybe they'll out some people. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes too high. I got my hopes real high for Tom Homan when he said he was going to arrest elected officials that were harboring and aiding illegals. That hasn't happened yet. So I'm not going to let my hopes get too damn high, but either way, Doge is going to be looking at Congress. So let's go ahead and get into this before we have any more problems, and I'm going to rip the rest of my hair out. Make sure you hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Meanwhile, Doge may have just found their next target. Elon Musk says he's now focusing on members of Congress who became, quote, strangely wealthy while in Congress.
They'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then it'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. It doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress. I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year?
Great point. Our next guest's app tracks which stocks politicians are investing in. Co-founder of the Autopilot app, Chris Joseph, joins us right now. Hi, Chris.
Hey, thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. You know, when we put up the members of Congress's salary, you know, it's a couple $100,000 a year for the most part, about. And yet we hear about some people who came in, didn't have any money, and then by the time they've been in the House or the Senate for 20, 30 years, they were super rich. You've been tracking that. What have you found?
Yeah, you see one, you kind of think it's a coincidence. You see two, it's like, okay, things are getting weird. And you see three or four, it's like, all right, well, now what is actually going on? And it's great to see that Elon and the Doge team are actually finally starting to look into this. We track specifically the trades and kind of the public filings of their disclosures around their financial statements. And there really isn't too much that you could see on the actual stock trading side. However, there's not much that you can really see into the spouses and the dependents of those politicians. So if I were Elon and I would kind of recommend where to look for the for some suspicious stuff going on here, I would go right to the spouses and especially the especially the spouses and the children as well.
Right. And, you know, for instance, Nancy Pelosi, when she came into office, she had a fraction of the amount of money she's got now. But her husband, venture capitalist, invested in a lot of different stocks and made just a jackpot of money. And that's one of the reasons why so many people in Congress had said, we got to stop with the stock trading. But famously, Nancy Pelosi had said, no, you know what? We're going to keep doing it.
Yep. Rules for me and not for thee. The funny story about how all that even started, too, is before the Stock Act even happened, these politicians were allowed to do literally whatever they wanted. And part of the reason why she became kind of the poster child of this entire thing was she was able to get exclusive access to the Visa IPO at the time, back in, I believe it was 2009, 2008. And it was through her husband. Her husband was able to put in a certain amount of money before those shares became public for the general public to buy. And that was the largest IPO in history at the time. And she made a killing on it while the other American people were not able to do it. How did her husband get that access? Might be because of her.
Yeah, but Chris, we're not suggesting anything is illegal because they can buy and trade stuff. It's just not very transparent.
Yeah, and that's, I think, what the majority of the Americans want.
Right.
Just transparency into it, bring some more kind of touch points on it. Yeah, we have been tracking her and a lot of other politicians for a while. No one has ever been found in charge for insider trading. There has been allegations. We've seen some suspicious stuff, but you are right. This is all kind of just wanting more transparency and more input into what truly is going on.
You know what? You've talked me into it. I'm going to download your app. It's called Autopilot. It's on his hat. I want to see what you guys have uncovered. Chris Josephs, we thank you very much for joining us live today.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's an interesting idea. As they said, this guy here has the Autopilot app that tracks insider trading going on by politicians, not necessarily criminal activity, just stock that they're buying and selling off. It's interesting that Doge is going to look into Congress. You know the lefties are going to be pissing and moaning about that. We're going to have Maxine Waters out in the street again crying about white supreme pizzas raining from the sky. Next up, Jeffrey Epstein accuser Virginia somebody says she has days to live. Now, she's pretty well known because of accusing Jeffrey Epstein of the terrible things that he did. She claims that she was a victim of human trafficking and being mistreated and all of that. Well, she just got hit by a bus. Some people think maybe it was done intentionally. It's kind of hard to say because they don't provide a lot of details, but it's coming up next. First, we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Elon targeting Congress with Doge, as well as this individual tracking trades that are being done on the stock market by elected officials. What's up, Russell? Happy freedom to you. Russell, I downloaded the app that follows politician stock trades. Is it the Autopilot app that guy created? What's up, High Plains Drifter? Happy freedom. Pumpkin dogwoods are blooming. What is a dogwood? I've never heard of that. That sounds like slang for like a drug or something. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Ghostly. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate the support. I couldn't see what it said or anything because I was dealing with technical problems, but I did see it even though I can't scroll back in the chat. But thank you, Ghostly. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give a huge shout out to Cody, I think it is. Let me see. Thank you so much, Cody, for buying me a coffee. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for the support. Pumpkin, it's a tree. Dogwood. I'll have to look into that. Told the care had your first hummingbird this morning. That's cool. What's up, Free the Texan? Happy freedom to you. Pumpkin, tell us who these rich are. Yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting when Elon Musk starts looking into Congress and making accusations and whatnot. They're going to be pissed. What's up, Mike T? Happy freedom to you if I can get you all ready. What's up, Faded? Happy freedom to you. DeRosa, we should hit Congress with an omnibus. What is that? What's up, Cheeky Chops? Cinderella, they're planning an attack on 50K military at 10 bases. Where'd you hear that, Cinderella? What's up, Guess Some? Happy freedom to you. Guess Some dogwood is when I'm drunk and I see an ugly woman. That's terrible. That's terrible. Cinderella, you just came across it online. Hartman, let's see how long you survive the chat. What's up, Wayward? Happy freedom to you. You ready to see these 2 chip clips or what? I'm proud. Wayward, I mean, maybe later. We'll see. Not right now, not during the live. Thank you for letting me know, Snooks. Russell, dogwood trees are mainly in the south? That would explain why I've never heard of it. Josh 1776, happy freedom to you. Just look up a list of the richest politicians, and that's probably who Doge or who's doing the trading. Yeah, I think so. I think it's crazy that everybody knows Nancy Pelosi is dirty for that insider trading, and then just nobody does anything about it. They just let it happen. Anyways, like I said, we're going to get into this next video here. Get it pulled up really quick, like. As quick it'll let me. Oh my god, YouTube's got a banner on this. Wait a minute. Hold on a second before we get into this. Oh, you can't even see it. Yeah, let's do this. Bam. See that blue banner right there? Like across the middle of the screen that YouTube does? It says, "You're not alone. 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline." This woman didn't try and smoke herself. She was hit by a fucking bus. God, YouTube, like, give me a break with your stupid bullshit. Fact checking. It's so dumb. Anyways, let's get into this. Jeffrey Epstein accuser, Virginia somebody, says she has days to live. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew accuser, Virginia Giuffre, says she has 4 days to live after a recent car crash. The 41-year-old, an alleged victim of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who also accused Prince Andrew of sexual abuse, shares a major health update following a car crash. Virginia captions a March 30th Instagram post, which shows her in a hospital bed with a bruised face, quote, "I've gone into kidney renal failure. They've given me 4 days to live, transferring me to a specialist hospital in urology." She continues, referencing her 3 kids with her estranged husband Robert, quote, "I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time." According to Virginia, her medical ordeal came after her car collided with a school bus driving at nearly 70 miles per hour. No other details about the crash, including when or where it occurred, have been given. However, a spokesperson for Virginia confirms to BBC that it was a serious collision, with Virginia receiving medical care in the hospital. News of Virginia's condition comes 5 years after Jeffrey Epstein, a financier accused of sex trafficking teenage girls, including Virginia, to members of his elite social circle, died by apparent suicide at age 66 while awaiting trial on his charges. Virginia alleges she was trafficked by Jeffrey when she was underage to his friend Prince Andrew, the younger brother of King Charles III and the second oldest son of the late Queen Elizabeth II. In 2021, Virginia filed a lawsuit against the royal, who has denied any wrongdoing.
All right. Rough stuff. They don't really have a lot of information, or they don't provide a lot of information about the collision. They do say that the bus was going like 70 or 75 or something like that when it collided with her vehicle, but they don't tell you where it was or what the context was of the situation. What happened to the bus? What happened to the bus driver? Was it a school bus? Was it a Greyhound? What kind of bus was it? Was this done intentionally? It's hard to say. They gave her 4 days to live, and she just wants to be able to see her kids before she dies. That's rough stuff. Next up, America loves what Trump is doing. This is Alina Habba. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Virginia. Russell, she had a tough life. Yeah, you're not wrong. Josh 1776, I don't get why they're not pumping her full of stem cells. It's hard to say. I don't know. They're weird about how they talk about it. And the guy sounds real condescending, whoever was doing that narration there. Hair Juicer, they make it sound like she hit the bus. Now Australian police are acting like it never happened. See, that's really suspicious. Yeah, Hair Juicer. Snook, school buses go way too dang fast wherever they are. Yeah. Well, yeah, 70 miles an hour sounds too fast for a bus, but it's hard to say. Ghostly, it was an empty bus with only one driver. That's not suspicious at all. Told to care sounds suspicious. I think so. What's up, Arthur? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly, the bus was the one speeding. Yeah. Ghostly, CIA smoked her. Definitely could be. Oh my god, I think the internet's dropping again. I don't have any more tricks up my sleeve. Why the fuck isn't this working? Jesus Christ loves us. For the Texan, we should say it now. No, Elon did not unalive himself. Yeah, when he starts poking around Congress, I think things are going to get kind of sticky. What the fuck is wrong with the internet? What's up, 10 Man? Happy freedom to you. Ten Man, wasn't the cross that Christ was crucified in made from dogwood tree? I am not sure. We can Google it really quick, though. While we wait and see if my internet wants to decide to work. I can't believe I pay $150 a month just to eat shit, like right in front of everybody. Love that so much. There's a popular legend suggesting that the cross was made from a dogwood tree, but it does not specify in the Bible. Interesting. Come on, internet. Jesus Christ loves us. What's up, Wayward? Thank you for joining us over here on Rumble. I don't think the internet's going to recover. DeRosa, Elon didn't Epstein himself. Yep. Murdercom, fuck Twitch and their dirty ads. I don't know why you were hanging on Twitch. Kick is way better than Twitch. What's up, Red Wagon? Happy freedom to you. Bot voice? Yeah, it was a bot voice. Come on, internet. Fix yourself. It's so stupid. Today is so stupid. Cheeky Chops, Candy Paint Taint. I never seen that before. What's up, Mushroom? Happy freedom to you. You think the voice was done with AI? Definitely could be. What's up, Vinny C? What's up, Extra Bill? Happy freedom. I can't believe the internet's just all over the place. Josh, who's your ISP? Fucking Spectrum. Stupid. So stupid. I don't know what to do. I've literally done everything. I've updated everything. I've reset everything. I talk to those stupid people like once a week, and they always come over here and they go, no, your service is actually running really great. Okay, well then explain this shit then. Like, hate it. Fucking hate it. I say this every time. It's like having a Ferrari that can't do 20 miles an hour. You take it to the shop, they're like, no, it's great. You're like, why can't I get over 20 miles an hour? They're like, I don't know. Okay, well, fuck. We'll try and get through this next video. It's titled, America Loves What Trump is Doing. It's an interview with Alina Habba. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you hooligans really quick. If you would like to join the membership program over on Rumble, all you have to do is click that big red subscribe button right below where you type in the chat. Now, if you're on Android and using the Rumble app, you're unable to see that big red subscribe button. So you got to go to rumble.com, come to the live, hop in the chat, and like I said, right below where you type in the chat, you will see that big red subscribe button. Click that button and jump through the hoops, and your name will be highlighted as an official Rumble hooligan. You'll have access to our custom emojis. We got chapstick emojis, screaming goat emojis, Klaus Daniels emojis, President Trump emojis, and more. It's a lot of fun during the live, especially during a Trump live. So definitely go join the membership program over on Rumble. Let's get this Alina Habba video pulled up real quick like. All right, let me see. Yep, all right. Anyways, hit the like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this. I gotta unmute it first. Just let me do that really quick. Okay, here we go.
Joining us now is interim New Jersey U.S. Attorney Alina Habba. Alina, great to see you. Congratulations on your new appointment. I hope everything goes swimmingly with that. But I have to drag you back into the lawfare routine because it just never stops. And yet most people agree it didn't help them. If anything, it hurt the Democrats in the 2024 elections. Why are they sticking with it?
Look, obviously, I have to be careful now and not to be political, so I'm going to speak generally. But here's the problem that we have generally as a country with this, is that we have to have judges refocus. And I know that in the state of New Jersey, my focus is going to be on real crime, violent crimes. Obviously on the civil side, there are issues, but you have to let each branch do what they need to do. And I really believe that. If you look at how great he's doing and what America loves it. And I'm not sure why these judges are stopping or doing this or saying that criminals should be in this state and things of that nature. I'd really love to understand why they think that it's wrong to keep a criminal, kick them out of this state, out of the country. But I can tell you for New Jersey, I gave clear directives today. They're going. We're out. We're not playing games with this. And if judges want to try and hold us back on that, that's going to be problematic. By the way,
Judge Boasbergs, he's the judge that brought to light the Alien Enemies Act, saying that it wasn't applicable in this case. I know you probably can't comment on that case, but I'm just curious, do you know when the Supreme Court might get a hold of that?
Yeah, I think like anything, the White House counsel's office and all of them will continue to push their cases through, obviously, vigorously. And if the Supreme Court has to take it up, they will. Look, I don't think any lawyer wants to have to end up, or maybe they do, but in the Supreme Court, I don't think we should have to be in this situation in general. I just prefer that everybody respects each other's branches. Yes. The executive branch and the judicial branch should not be continuously fighting. I don't think that's healthy for this country. I don't think that's what America wants. I think we need to be cohesive. We need to regroup as a country, and we need to all be on the same team, and that is not dragging each other through court.
Right. Now, this is an immigration issue that has to do, or could have to do, with you, specific action you might be involved with. Elon Musk is finding more details out about the millions of migrants who came here under Biden. He says about 5.5 million of them have now received Social Security cards because, of course, he's looking into all the details about what's happened with Social Security, and that people with those cards, non-citizens, some of them anyway, have been registering to vote. That is what Biden's open border policies were really all about. That's what he's saying. Of course, that would be illegal. But here is Elon Musk over the weekend. Roll tape.
People sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people.
So, Alina, would you be working if the DOJ gets hold of this and tries to track down some of these illegals that were voting? I assume that U.S. attorneys such as yourself would be working with ICE to try to track them down, no?
So let me tell you exactly what I did today, my first meeting with my team. I did two things that were very important to me. Number one, I created a human trafficking task force for the state of New Jersey, which I will announce. And I'm announcing it to you, actually, David. So one of my first things, my first order of business was I wanted a human trafficking task force. Second thing I asked to do was meet with the individuals that are dealing with voter fraud with this exact type of issue. We have a real problem, especially in New Jersey, but generally speaking, we should not have people voting that should not vote. You don't get to choose who is running for, even whether it be state officials, federal officials. We should not have this problem. It shouldn't be the case. And what Elon's talking to, I can't speak to, but I told Elon before I left, I invite him to come to New Jersey and Doge, whatever he would like to do, because I am truly on the side of getting our voter rolls cleaned up and getting all of that straightened out so people that are voting are the right people.
Boy, two vital things, the voting rolls and trafficking. I can never stop thinking about those kids that were being used by these horrible, horrible, malicious traffickers, used to get people across the board, then they go back and be used again, not to mention what's happening to them here. I'm so glad you're working on that. Alina, best of luck to you.
Don't do it in New Jersey.
Good for you. Good for you. Stay tough. Thank you, Alina Habba. Appreciate it.
All right, Alina Habba there, doing the thing. Now, I haven't actually heard of her doing anything for New Jersey yet. I know that she's just recently gotten the position, but I can't wait to see how she does. Her first big crackdown and all of that. I assume it's a lot of good things to come. Next up, I hate this word. Judical system failed us. Name New Mexico GOP vandalized by lefties. Now they talk about this like this really ain't that big of a deal. But we covered a few months ago where a Democrat headquarter building was attacked. Somebody had shot a 9mm round through it, and then like a week later they had put some BBs through it or a pellet through it from a pellet gun. And they act like this was terrorism by white supreme pizzas. A bunch of Trumpers went out there and attacked the building, and these are the kind of problems we have in America and all this shit. GOP headquarters gets attacked, and they're like, so that's how it's going. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about Alina Habba. Judicial. See, why do they name it that? Why is Wednesday named Wednesday? I don't understand. Just making words hard to say for no damn reason. Sub-Zero, happy freedom. Snooks, Alina has fresh Botox in her lips. Yeah, I've seen a couple people referencing her lips. Not all about Botox, I will say that. Told to care, judicial. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds like Mad Gab when I say it. Told care kind of looks like she overused those lips. Yeah, she's probably got fresh injections. Pumpkin vigorously, word of the day. Cody, lips are a little bit more pouty than usual. I didn't even notice it till you guys said something. Bobby, the neck fetish. What's up, Enter User? Happy freedom to you. Murdercom, I know it's been almost a decade, but I wish Trump would lock up the Chaz Chop insurrectionist and murderers, radicals. Yeah, radicals that only right-wingers can get locked up for such a crime. Oh, it's ridiculous. That's what it says. Ridiculous that only right-wingers get locked up for such crimes. Yeah, and it sucks because President Trump was actually in office when that all happened. And he didn't do anything about it because he wanted the governors and the mayors to want help from the federal government, but they didn't want help, so we all just watched it happen. DeRosa, the neck of justice. Yep. Meta, where's Klaus? Oh, he's hanging out, looking out the slider right now. I moved his Klaus tower here because I'm doing paperwork, doing stupid taxes and stuff. So I moved him so he could be in front of the sun. He'll be back though. As soon as I get done with taxes, hopefully by Friday. Cinderella, I can use that word. It's in my DNA. Judical? I'm just calling it judical from now. That sounds way better than judicial. That sounds like a made-up word. Just judical. What's up, Robert? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Kathleen? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Kenneth? What's up, Devin? Happy freedom to you. I can't wait till we got news where we can actually cover that people are going to jail and being held accountable for their actions. One day. I got high hopes. What's up, Scott Johnson? What the hell is that name? I don't know what your name is. Well, thanks for being here, whatever your name is. Hope you hang out with us long enough to tell me how to say that. Where would you be careful with those chip clips? Guess can we start kicking people that make fun of Alina Habba? We need to shame them. You point and you shame them. Russell, her neck was looking nice. Yeah, I don't think she needed any Botox in the neck. Zero, Trump couldn't just send in the National Guard. It would look so bad. I know. We're sitting here covering it. What's up, Puff and Stuff? Happy freedom to you. Cater, you fantasize about JD Vance? That's a pretty weird thing to say. Federals? Is that what it is? Federales? Either way, happy freedom to you. Russell, I'm up to 3 chip clips. Now, it's not a competition, you hooligans. I mean, it could be. We could hold a competition. Wayward, I think he's one-upping you. I think that's what's going on. You're getting one-upped, Wayward. What's up, Cassie J? Happy freedom to you. All right, we're going to go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, this next one is judicial system failed us. New Mexico GOP vandalized by lefties. Now, this ain't quite a bullet hole like when the Democrat headquarters got hit. In my opinion, I think this is worse, but we'll see. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
Welcome back. The Republican Party of New Mexico says there was an arson and vandalism attack on its Albuquerque headquarters over the weekend, and they say it was deliberate. GOP party officials in New Mexico pointing to the spray paint that was found on the entryway of the headquarters with the words ICE equals KKK.
Yeah, they say the attack was fueled by hatred and intolerance. Officials say local first responders on the ground there recovered incendiary materials at the scene of the fire, but the investigation remains ongoing. Want to bring in, though, Amy Barella. She is the New Mexico GOP chairwoman who joins us on this. Amy, I'm sorry to see this story, or rather to see these pictures and these images and the words that were written there. I can only imagine the emotion that goes on even looking at something like this. Early stages of the investigation. Can you explain to our viewers what you and those that work in this building have experienced so far?
Well, the first thing obviously was heartbreak. You know, this is our home. This is where we reach out to the community, the entire state, and conduct all of our business. And so the first thing when I heard is I sat down and I cried, and then I got dressed and went up straight to headquarters to get ready to clean up the mess. Obviously, this is going to be ongoing repairs, but we are going to come out stronger and better because of this.
I'm sorry to see. Was there anyone there at the time when this incident happened?
No, luckily, the initial, what we believe, the initial plant of the device was at 1 a.m. and it actually ignited at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So no, we're not open on Sunday, and I'm thankful. That's been one of my worries is, keeping our staff safe. And so I'm glad nobody was there harmed.
Of course, because this would have caused someone damage had they been there at the wrong place. Do you all have any sort of leads into who would have done this? Any sort of surveillance footage?
The investigation's positive.
Okay, that's good.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
So does that mean there's a suspect?
I can just say that they've been successful the last 3 attempts of vandalism for our building in finding suspects and charging them. It is the judicial system that has been failing us, and that is the reason why the crime has escalated to what it is today.
Yeah, there is at least from what we're hearing, the New Mexico Senate Minority Leader is saying that this incident speaks to a larger crime problem in your state. We have this on tape. Watch this.
This politically motivated attack, juveniles shooting at their peers, vehicle break-ins all over the city, drug-addicted vagrants terrorizing small businesses. There are countless examples of New Mexico where we have clear evidence the public is increasingly less safe. We have a duty to address this crisis. Criminals and bad actors in our state are emboldened and enabled to continue terrorizing our communities through violence.
So, Amy, this attack specifically that we're seeing, and obviously crime was addressed, attacks are addressed here, but does this all stem back to to immigration policies, or maybe to what you're seeing in your state in terms of party affiliation, politics coming into play? What can you share with us here?
Well, 95 years, New Mexico has voted the same way. And so we are last in everything good and first in everything bad in the state of New Mexico. And so, yes, over the last few years, our crime has even worsened because of open borders and, fentanyl, everything is number one in the state of New Mexico. So I am, it's a privilege. I guess I could say that I get to represent all of New Mexicans through this experience as a victim of crime. There's not many people in the state of New Mexico that have not been victims of crime because of the crime surge. And the Republican Party is going to stand strong for every single one of them and try the best to legislate for good crime bills. Make sure that we're not just attacking legal citizens, attacking our Second Amendment right, and see if we can't help legislate and fix the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, well, we wish you very much luck in that.
All right. Like I said, kind of giving her questions about it or whatnot, but you don't hear a lot about this story here. When it happened to the Democrats, though, they were nonstop talking about it. The white supreme pizza's falling out of the sky and all of that. They were like, we're certain it's a Trump supporter. I'm like, okay. But no, GOP building gets hit, and they're like, do we gotta cover this? Does it matter? Like, stupid. We'll see. We'll see if there's a follow-up to it. Like they said, they've been hit 3 times, but the judicial system keeps failing them, which really sounds like the police are arresting them, and the prosecutors are letting these criminals loose. Prosecutor probably should be investigated. He's probably a lefty himself, him or her, or they or them, or Zimmerzer, or any of that other stupid shit. Anyways, next up, Attorney General seeks death penalty for Luigi Mangione. It's the first time we've had a follow-up on Luigi in quite a while, pretty much since he smoked that CEO of healthcare. But they're looking to get him with the death penalty, and we'll see if he still smiles in court after that. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about the GOP headquarters getting hit by lefties. And Zero, they have video. Excellent. Yeah, now they just need the judge and prosecutor to send them to jail or prison instead of letting them loose on the street to hit them a 4th time. Russell, but ICE is an equal opportunity. ICE is equal opportunity deportation. Nowhere close to the Klan. Yep. Lefties are so stupid. That's like them drawing swastikas on all those Cybertrucks and Teslas to call other people Nazis. They're the only ones in the country drawing swastikas, and they're calling everyone else Nazis. That's how dumb lefties are. Ghostly, I think the judge and the DA will let them walk. That's what it sounds like. That's exactly what it sounds like is going on. Pumpkin, tag them and bag them. Get those criminals. Yep. I bet that's so frustrating for the police to go out there and face criminals where they could die or be injured, the criminal or the officer, and then you do everything you can to get them where they're supposed to go, jail or, a holding tank of some sort, and then they get in front of the judge and then they just cut them loose. And then the cops got to go back out there and catch them again. Stupid. Ghostly, you attack MAGA and you get a free pass in America now. Yeah. Well, and the judges are all pissed at what President Trump is doing. So yeah, if these criminals are out here attacking MAGA or any kind of Trump supporter or whatever, the judge will probably side with the criminal. Free the Texan, don't move to New Mexico. Check. Yeah, that place sounds terrible. It's like they're competing with Portland or something. What's up, Rip Curl? Welcome back. Puffa Stuff, chip clip shit. Got for the binder. Go for the binder clips and be a man. I don't know. That's too much. Flatten your wiener. Holy. 12 karat depends on the size of the clips. We have standard size now. It's a standardized size. Ghost Hair, the chip clips out now? We're doing a clip off? No, they're not ready yet. I gotta talk to Alistair about it. He's been busy lately. DeRosa, that's why cops are crazy. Yeah, because they're just arresting the same criminals over and over again, but they're not going to jail. I don't understand that at all, because when I was younger, when I was 17, it was like I couldn't take a deep breath without being arrested and accused of 15, 16 different kinds of crime. I'd have to sit there for a month or two just for them to figure out they can't charge me with half the shit because I didn't do half the shit. There's no symptoms. There's no evidence of me doing, half the shit wrong. I remember I got in a fight with somebody and I was being charged with assault, but they originally charged me with assault, using a deadly weapon, with intent to cause great bodily harm, intimidation, conspiracy to criminal, I don't know, some crime thing saying I was going to jump them or some shit. And then they were like, well, what happened? And the police report said that I'd walked out in this alley. This other guy walked out. We exchanged words. And then I nailed him like 19 times until his glasses broke into his face. And then they were like, okay, but what's all these other charges? And everybody just kind of looked at each other and shit. And then they're like, okay, well, we can't charge you with this stuff because you didn't do that. And I'm like, yeah. And every time I got arrested when I was young and an idiot, it was always like that. I've been detained for jaywalking. That's how shit my luck is. I was detained for jaywalking. And then we got people on here who are pushing people in front of subway cars in New York, and then they just get off the hook. They just, no big deal, let him go. He's on camera, he's smiling while doing it. Everybody's cheering him on. Like, what the fuck? Like, I do not understand the world the way it is now, because anytime I get in trouble, they act like I'm the most terrible person in the country. And then these guys, we cover the news every day. These people act like straight assholes, and then nothing happens to them. I hate it. I hate it so much. DeRosa got to make those punches in the face great again. I swear, people would think twice if they could be punched in the face at any moment. People would be a lot more polite, and they'd be doing things they're supposed to. DeRosa, clip it, boys. Yeah, coming up. Meta accountability. Yeah, we need it bad. We need it from top to bottom. From the government all the way down to the person washing dishes at McDonald's. We need full accountability, and we don't got it. And I'm hoping that in the future we will, because all we had to do is vote for President Trump. But as of right now, we ain't got no accountability. No Epstein files. No arrest for Epstein. Mass deportation's been staggered. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. We just got to be hopeful and stay up to date with it. What's up, Torp? Happy Freedom? Legalize jaywalking? Yeah. What's up, Teasel? Welcome back. What's up, Itchy? What's up, Lion's Heart? Happy Freedom. What's up, Cloud? She could task force me anytime. Alina Habba. Wayward, I'll do a zip tie right now. No, don't do that. Don't do that. It'll fall off. Wayward, communists in the Klan go hand in hand. The lefties would be pissed if they heard that. Let me see. Wayward, the Klan has been hanging around Cincinnati in some bad areas, dropping flyers. BLM groups have set up armed neighborhood checkpoints trying to catch them. It's crazy. Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos with the I don't know if they're BLMers, but they're sort of like BLM, and they're armed, and they kind of remind me of that one group that fizzled out really quick. I can't remember what it was. It was like Black Lives Matter, but they were all playing soldier. And then the one guy like shot himself on accident or whatever. Maybe he had an accidental discharge. I cannot remember what they were called, but they were people playing G.I. Joe. And they were called, I want to say they were called Black something. I can't remember now, but yeah, I see that stuff starting up. Wayward. What's up, Sam? Happy Freedom to you. Thank you, Snooks. I appreciate the compliment. I am so damn tired. I don't even remember what the beginning of the live was. Information Warlord, you're too white. Okay. I don't know what to say about that. Too old to care. So tired of the pissing contest. Just piss off radical Dems. Yeah. Free the text and make ass beatings great again. I think that's the only way it's going to work. The judges aren't going to send nobody to prison unless it's me. The prosecutors are just as corrupt as the criminals. Anything President Trump does gets stopped by a judge. I think it's just going to come down to vigilante justice and ass whoopings. I think that's the only market that's selling accountability these days. Nah, information warlord. It wasn't Black Panthers. They were something else. But it was damn. I wish I could remember what it was called. It was called something stupid. And we used to laugh about it all the time. And I remember there was like a park in DC, I think it was in DC, where all these people were playing G.I. Joe. And it's like a bunch of black dudes, because that was the theme, that it was like black dudes only allowed to play or whatever. And then one of them like accidentally discharged their weapon. I think they shot themselves in the leg or something like that. I don't know. They were called something stupid, but it was back in the BLM days, where we had Antifa and the Proud Boys, and we had the MAGA Million marches going on in DC and all of that. And I can't remember what it's called, but it's not the Black Panthers though. What's up, Pag? Happy freedom to you. Somebody will remember what I'm talking about. Yeah, information warlord. Yeah. No, Bobby, that's not what I'm talking about. Trader, yeah, they were a part of BLM. But they weren't just regular BLMers. They were calling themselves something else. I'll have to go back and watch my videos. The lives from 2020. What's up, Magic? Happy freedom to you. Sam, I had a dream and y'all are fucking it up. You're not wrong, Sam. That is so funny. Snooks, you can't remember what they're called either? I'm going to have to look it up. Close, Free the Texans. Close. I'll look it up after. We'll get this next video going. I'll see if I can find it really quick. Like I said, this next one is Attorney General seeks death penalty for Luigi Mangione, which is the individual that had a 3D printed gun and went and shot that healthcare CEO, assassinated him, then left little bullets and shit at the crime scene like it's a drama movie. Either way, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the CommuTube, and let's get into this.
We are following breaking news this afternoon. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says she has directed federal prosecutors to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, the accused killer of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. In a statement released less than an hour ago, Bondi says the murder was, quote, a premeditated, cold-blooded assassination that shocked America. She went on to say the murder was an act of political violence that could have posed a grave risk of death to bystanders. Mangione currently being held in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn as he awaits trial.
All right, Luigi facing the death penalty now. He's been smiling in court and all of that. A lot of people speculate that he's not even the right guy. That they say the eyebrows don't match from the surveillance video footage and stuff like that. But I feel like if he wasn't the guy, he'd be a lot more upset being detained, being held in prison, not being able to live his life free. I mean, even if you think you're going to win a lawsuit, like say it's a wrongful accusation, you just go along with it hoping this is your lottery ticket in life. I don't think anybody would want to be detained in prison for months just praying to God that you're going to win a lawsuit. I don't think so. I think he is the guy. I think he's the guy that did it, even though the lefties speculate that's not the case. Either way, next up, laid off San Francisco HHS worker speaks out after abrupt closure of regional office. We're going to play that video and the video after. We're going to play these back to back. The next one's Senator Banks Scorches recently fired HHS staffer begging for his job back. Like I said, we're going to play those back to back. It's coming up next, but first, we're going to read through the chat and see what you Hooligans think about Luigi Mangione's follow-up video. Also, the group I was talking about was called NFAC, the Not Fucking Around Coalition. I just typed in Black Military Group. First thing it popped up, NFAC. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Either way, reading through, see what you Hooligans think about Luigi Mangione. Russell, yeah, he's probably going to get the death, but I think so. I mean, Pam Bondi thinks he should, but I'm not impressed with Pam Bondi. I'm just not. I had my hopes too damn high. What's up, Metamouth? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Dusto? put that psycho down. He's hamming it up. Yeah, he is. And the lefties, they treat him like he's a martyr or some shit. Like, they love this guy. Free the Texan, that piece of shit, had liberal women making a fan club. Well, there's no liberal women. It's just dudes in dresses. But, yeah. Yeah, Free the Texan. I know, and they're, like, trying to send him money and all kinds of stuff. Ghostly. Yeah. Yep. NFAC. What's up, Hidu? Happy freedom to you. DeRosa. The left do like discharge. Yeah, they love discharge. Especially when it's off color. Yeah. Guess who? He'll be found guilty and be on death row for 20 or more years. It definitely could be that way, and we'll be sitting there paying for him to exist in prison. Mushroom, he yelled at the news cameras, "I'm innocent," and if he was like the guy who killed JFK or RFK, yeah, and we did cover that when he got out of the car and he started yelling to the press and they slammed him up against the wall. What's up, Miss Gen X? Happy freedom to you. Yeah, we'll see what happens with Luigi. Snucks, I saw in fact shoot themselves on the live and it was hilarious. Yeah, back before YouTube was so hard up for censorship, we used to be able to show everything. We watched like 3 or 4 people get shot on the live. Now you can't say shit. You can't say shit on YouTube without them getting all bent out of shape. Ghostly, the leader of NFAC, went to jail for pointing his gun at a Fed at one of his marches. That's hilarious, Ghostly. He deserves it. He signed up for it. Hooligans Island, happy freedom to you. Grandmaster J, yeah, I remember that. Sam, what is that? What kind of soup is that? All right, Hooligans, like I said, we're going to play these next 2 videos back to back because it's all related to HHS workers being laid off. Now, we covered last week that this was going to happen, but now it's going into effect. Now, before we get into this, I want to remind you, Hooligans, really quick, to go check out the Only Hooligan shop for cool custom hooligan items. Now, the chip clips aren't ready yet, and like I said, I got to talk to Alistair and see what the plan is because he's been busy lately. See if I can get a time frame or something like that. But either way, go check out the Only Hooligan shop. It was created by Alistair, and everything in the shop is created by Alistair, and this is in an attempt to get away from third-party services like print on demand and stuff like that. That way we have more control over quality, pricing, shipping times, things like that. So definitely go check out the Only Hooligan shop. Mr. Phillip, when did you start live streaming? The last day of May 5 years ago. All right. Like I said, we're going to play these videos back to back. First one is laid off San Francisco HHS worker speaks out after abrupt closure of regional office. Come on, thing, load. Bam. All right. Hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the Goof Tube. And let's get into this.
And more people are walking out, kind people like Julie Fong. Thank you for spending your morning with us under such just horrible times. What's your take on all this? We heard Michael say something like, was it an email?
It was in an email we heard with the rest of the country through a press release last Thursday that HHS would be doing reductions in force. And then this morning, we started receiving texts from colleagues in other time zones saying that they had received a reduction in force notice. And we all got to the office today, 2 emails informing us that we were being let go. I've been with the agency 25 years. Most of my colleagues have been with the agency 5 years or more. Many have been with the agency decades. And these folks are folks who work on health and human service programs. So we are committed to serving the taxpayer. That's what we've done for all of these years. We're committed to serving the most vulnerable children and families in our communities, public health, and we have all been released from service.
I know you're thinking about yourself, and rightfully so, but we were speaking earlier. You did not go into this being rich, that you talked about the community being served and you started to choke up. I'm sure you're thinking about them as well.
Yes, we're all thinking about the communities that we serve, that we partner with. We work with some fantastic state governments and tribal governments, and I know they will continue the work, but it's going to be challenging.
As far as the notice, no human being ever came over to you. It was as plastic, I guess, lack of a better term. They just sent out an email and said, today's your day.
We all received impersonal emails on April Fool's Day, and it was not an April Fool's joke.
That occurred to me. Did you initially go, this is April Fool's?
No, it was abundantly clear. It feels intentionally cruel and malicious, to be honest, which is in line with some of the other things we've experienced recently.
And when you all found out, was everybody got together? This might be, for many of you, the last time you see each other.
It won't be the last time we see each other because, again, we're really connected. These folks, we will remain connected, I believe. We just had a meeting where we all were able to join together and connect and talk. We have amazing leadership in our regional administrator, and he's been incredibly supportive and provided wonderful leadership. And we'll continue to. We're all meeting. Our teams are meeting right now and connecting and ensuring that we stay connected.
We care about you. What are your plans? It's too early to tell, I would imagine. Almost like asking an athlete right after a game what he plans to do. It is just too early, but any thoughts down the road on how you plan to land on your feet or hope to land on your feet?
You know, I'm going to tell everyone out there's a group of dedicated human service professionals with decades of experience in this building who are going to need employment, including me. And my name is Julie Fong, and you can get the rest of the names, I'm sure, from Pete Weldy, who's the regional administrator here. These folks are dedicated. We did not work in this field to make a bunch of money. We worked in this field to serve the taxpayer. So if you have a human service job, I've got 65 really great human service professionals to partner with you.
65 let go, you know.
Just in my area.
Could be even more.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hopefully some future employer is looking at you and saying, I want her to join as well. Thank you so much. I'm sure you have more packing to do. Thank you.
You didn't have to say that. I'm sure you got more packing to do. Yeah, right in that ass. Anyways, like I said, we're going to play these videos back to back. This next one is Senator Banks scorching recently fired HHS staffer begging for his job back. Yes. He's like, well, I'm going to let you go. I'm sure you got some packing to do. You know she cried when she went back to the door. If they even let her back in, God only knows. Either way, let's get into this, and after this, we will read through the chat.
Hi, I was a worker at HHS. I was fired illegally on February 14th. There are many people who are not getting social service programs, especially people with disabilities. Are you going to do anything to stop what's happening?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it?
You probably deserved it.
I deserved it.
Dude,
wow.
That's
Yeah, that's great to hear. Why did I deserve it?
Because you seem like a clown.
Okay, sir, you shouldn't have said that.
Hi, I was a worker at HHS.
Smoked him as if it wasn't bad enough that he just lost his job. He's like, you deserve it. And then he was stupefied by it, and then he told him he looked like a clown. Smoked him. That guy cried in the car. It wasn't his car, but, that's okay. Either way, next up, got Tom Homan. It's titled 17 Felon Migrant Suspects Deported to El Salvador under Title 8 Authority. It's been a while since we had Tom Homan on. I figure we'll go ahead and get an update with this mass deportation. It's coming up next, but first, we're going to read through the chat, see what you Hooligans think about these HHS workers. Russell sounds like HR. Yeah. Zero. Well, they could have fired them at 4:30 last Friday. It's true. Zero. People get fired all the time. She's not special. Elon saving American money. Yeah. Russell, last name's Thong. I know it's not Thong, but when they first said it, that's what it sounded like. That looks awesome, Sam. Oh my god, are we gonna have fucking internet problems again? Holy shit, am I gonna survive the day? I can't stand being alive. Dusto, the security could have hit the closed door button in the elevator. Yeah, could be. Not he rolled him up and smoked him like a blunt. He did. He didn't have to, but he did. Ghostly, I got fired once because they lost my paycheck in the mail and needed to stall for the time, then tried to get me to come back after they sorted it all out. Yeah, Ghostly. I've been fired for no reason. I was called in on my day off, and when I got there, they fired me after I drove 36 miles to get there in the wintertime. It just sucks. I don't know. Pumpkin, just get out there and find a job. Yeah, if you got 20 years experience doing HHS work, then it'd probably be easy to get another job, you would think. Hidu, the guys around him in the elevator didn't laugh or anything. Yeah, I don't think they felt bad for that individual there. What's up, DK? Happy freedom to you. Ghostly fired illegally. Yeah, that's because Democrats keep saying that on the news. And so they're like, yeah, I was fired illegally. And it's like, okay. Like you have the right to be employed at that specific place or something. Hidu, learn to code. There's actually a lot of people saying don't learn to code because by the time you figure out how to code, AI will be doing it better than you. And so people suggest learning like principles of coding. So you just let AI do the coding, but then you have the ability to go through and correct mistakes and stuff. But I don't know. We're in a really weird time because AI is constantly progressing. So I don't know. I like learning to code, but there's a lot of people who suggest that it's a dying market because AI is going to take it over. My feed, happy freedom to you. Been laid off, get another job. Yeah, I've been laid off a couple times too. Todd, dude looks homeless. Yes, they both were looking kind of rough. They probably went and did fentanyl in the alley after the interview. Hey Todd, they're gonna create a Facebook group. Who cares? I know. MC in San Francisco, you can certainly assume they're all lefties. Yeah, definitely. Metalmouth, that sucks when you get fired on your day off. Yeah. And I was so young that I couldn't drink. So I just sat in the parking lot for like an hour. Like I just sat there in my car because I didn't know what to do. I was like, these bitches called me in on my day off and then they fired me. And they fired me for no reason. They were like, you're being terminated for no reason. And I was like, what does that mean? They were like, you're being terminated for no reason. I was like, just to be mean to me or like what? They were like, no, that's the reason you're being terminated. I'm like, what is? They're like, there is no reason. I'm like, but I'm still fired though? They're like, yeah. I'm like, don't get this. And they just slid a paper across the table, said reason for termination, and then it said no reason. And I was like, that's nice. That's real nice. Now, honestly, it was because I was dating the general manager, and that's against policy, but they didn't want to write that down. That's okay. Sam, go fund yourself. That's right. DeRosa, Jeff Mack was accused of stealing boxes on his day off. Yeah, might as well have been. DeRosa, nah, I can't read that out loud. Somebody will be all mad about it, I'm sure. What's up, Jay Blazer? Happy freedom to you. What's up, Lisa? Lisa, I got fired for missing time while I was in the hospital for 2 weeks with sepsis. Yeah, I've heard all kinds of stuff. When I was working at the factory, there was a woman on the line with us, and she got a call from the school saying their kid was throwing up and that they had to go get their kid. And they were like, okay, well, I got to go. And they went into HR and they were like, I got to leave. I got to pick up my kid. They're throwing up. There's no one else to do it. They were like, if you leave, you're fired. She was like, well, fire me then. I'm leaving. Walked out the door. She was terminated. They stripped her license and everything. She couldn't come back into the building. She came back on Monday and they escorted her off the property because she had to go get her kid from school. Like, I don't know. I understand when people act up at work on the way out, like they get fired and they burn the place down. I know why. Like, I don't question that shit at all. It's not the right thing to do, and I'm not condoning it, but I understand why people do that. Hooligans Island, I'm glad to know that Ice Cube is on President Trump's side. Yeah, I was really surprised that Ice Cube came out and admitted that, like, the government had their hand in gangster rap and all of that to condition young minds. J-Dog, you were dating the general manager? I was, but it doesn't come with benefits like you think. See, I originally thought it was going to have benefits too. You know what the benefits were? I had to work every fucking day because she wanted to hang out with me, and I had to work open and close every day. And I was only like 19 years old. Ruined my life, but that's okay. Long time ago. J-Dog, yeah, Ice Cube is kind of MAGA. I don't know if he's full MAGA. But after he admitted the government was involved in gangster rap, I don't think the lefties want to hang out with him anymore. J-Dog, when are we getting those Doge checks? I don't think we're getting them. I don't think that's a real thing. I think the internet blew it out of proportion. What's up, Blonde Beard? Happy freedom to you. What's up, TPP? Clown got cooked. Yep, it smelled funny. What's up, Betsy? What's up, Alex King? What's up, Judo Joe? Happy freedom. What's up, Jeff S? Happy freedom. DeRosa, okay, I shouldn't have told you guys anything. You guys are just smoking me in the chat. That's what I get. It's not my first day. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and move forward here. Like I said, this next one's Tom Homan. It's titled 17 Felon Border Crossers Deported to El Salvador Under Title 8 Authority. This title is really weird now that I'm looking at it because it says 17 felon migrant suspects have been deported to El Salvador under Title 8 authority. Wait a minute. How can you send people to prison if they're just suspects? Like, there needs to be sentencing and stuff. So, I don't know. And it's not Tom Homan's fault. He didn't write the title on this stupid video here, but that's okay. We know what they mean, even if they write their title stupid. So, let's go ahead and get into this. Make sure you hit that like button if you got a like button, and let's get this rolling.
The Trump administration uses its Title VIII authority to deport more violent criminal migrants to El Salvador's prison. Among them, 7 alleged Trinidad members, plus one of the gang leaders. 6 are implicated in sexual abuse of a minor and 3 suspected murderers. Borders' Tom Homan joins us now. Tom, welcome back to the program. You guys promised that you were going to do this. These folks were under final deportation order. This is why you were able to get rid of them quickly, right?
Yeah, like I said last week when we talked, Lawrence, I said, despite what Judge Brosberg says, we're going to continue to arrest members of MS-13 in Trinidad and remove them under Title VIII. We'll hold off on the Alien Enemies Act while that's all being litigated, but we're going to take these people off the street every day, 24/7 across this country. We're not letting up.
You know, Tom, I want to get back to that final deportation order because some of these cases are taking years to get through. Is there any way to speed up the process to get that final deportation order?
Look, we're looking at expedited removals, looking at voluntary return, but, we need EOIR, the immigration courts need to, reestablish, last cases first, right? Those immediate cases that came across the border, litigate them first. But immigration judges, we need more immigration judges, and I think more action on the most violent first, right? Let's concentrate on the criminal aliens. But under current structure, those who are in detention get a hearing within like 40 days. If you're not in detention, it can take 5 to 7 years. So we need to make sure ICE continues doing what they're doing. Focus on the public safety threats, national security threats, lock them up, detain them, because they get attention first. So we got to expand on what we're currently doing and put more bad guys in detention and have the hearings done quickly.
So in the final days, Tom, the past administration tried to extend TPS. So the administration got rid of it. Your administration under Donald Trump's leadership got rid of it quickly. A federal judge is disagreeing with this, but it's the reasoning that got me. This is what he said in his ruling. There's no evidence that Venezuelan TPS holders are members of the TDA gang, have connections to the gang, and or commit crimes. Generalization of criminality to the Venezuelan TPS population as a whole is baseless and smacks of racism, predicated on generalized false stereotypes. The administration didn't bring stereotypes to the court. That's not the reason for getting rid of TPS. So what is this judge talking about?
Look, it's another activist judge making a stupid ruling. It just doesn't make sense. I've been around since 1984, Lawrence, and a TPS, temporary protected status, is never temporary. And President Trump is going to do his job by the rule of law. The law says temporary status. Once the conditions in that country they're from, once the conditions change, then people should be removed from the United States. It's only a temporary status. For instance, if there's a hurricane and it devastates a part of a country, we'll give them TPS until that country gets back on their feet. But TPS isn't meant to be decades long. So President Trump, who's promised American people, we're going to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president. We're going to use the laws of this country to secure the border and enforce our immigration law. That's exactly what we're doing. TPS needs to be temporary in nature. We need to follow the rule of law and not some advice from an activist judge who makes a foolish ruling, not based on law, but based on opinion. If you look at that decision, it's based on opinion, not the rule of law, and that's what we need to get back to. So look, we'll litigate it and we'll appeal it and we'll win.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tom, the Rochester Police Department is under a lot of scrutiny because they got an officer assist call from ICE, and they showed up for the call. This is what their union is saying, Tom. Let's watch it.
Our policy is also to back up other officers who need help. We report on this all the time about an officer killed during a traffic stop. It is one of the most dangerous times for an officer to have. You have a vehicle that the occupants are refusing to get out. It was a van. Turns out there was 8 people in that van, and our officers did an excellent job of de-escalating that situation.
Tom, aren't you proud of those law enforcement officers for doing their job, answering the call?
Yes, Sam, they did, yeah, absolutely. And I met some of those officers at a law enforcement rally down in Tennessee, And I told them I'm coming to Rochester. I promised them I'd come to Rochester and address the issue. Now, I have been told just recently that the leadership at Border Patrol and HSI have met with the chief, and they're going to continue to respond to emergency calls. But I made a promise I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I think the issue lies with the mayor of Rochester, who supports sanctuary city policies and took this action. Those officers that responded were put on a death, taken off the road because of those actions. I think what I've heard is the chief of police has had a conversation with both Border Patrol and HSI, but I made a promise to those law enforcement officers I'd go to Rochester, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I keep my promises.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, we're dealing with lunatics right now. When you get a call on the radio saying, officer assist, this is standard operating procedure. You show up, no matter what jurisdiction. It's all lights and sirens coming to aid the officer. We'll see what happens, Tom.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we responded to in that story. It says cops need to respond to cops in emergency situations. Border Patrol and ICE has never not responded to a call for assistance from law enforcement.
Tom Holman, thank you, brother.
I'm Steve Ducey.
All right, an update there on the mass deportation with Tom Holman there. Judge is still standing in the way. Speaker Mike Johnson made claims that they were going to do something about those judges that want to interfere with everything President Trump's doing, but especially the mass deportations, claiming that they don't have access to counsel out in Gitmo and stuff, and that's why they shipped them all back from Gitmo. Now they're all in Louisiana, and they keep trying to prevent the illegals from being shipped out, but little by little they're getting it done. The other thing is, they didn't mention it in that video, but these 17 illegals that were kicked out are the same ones that Caroline Leavitt was talking about earlier today, which we showed at the beginning of the live, where they said that they've committed heinous crimes, including necrophilia, which is doing sexual things with a dead body. And so that's how bad these people are that are being shipped out. And for some reason, these judges, they want to protect these people. Birds of a feather, I suppose. Either way, next up we got Lefties losing it. It's titled Tesla Vandals FAFO Face Instant Justice. Now, of course, this is going to be a plethora of lefties losing it, and this is going to be how we're going to wrap up the news, and we'll get into our fun stuff. It's coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what your hooligans think about Tom Holman trying to get this mass deportation going. Zero, ew, it's gross. Yeah, I don't know what is wrong with people. Think about how common it has to be for us to create a phrase just so you don't have to describe it to people. I can't believe it's even a thing. I don't know what the hell is wrong with people. Brian, necrophilia, I thought that lost popularity after the 70s. What the hell were people doing in the 70s? Was it popular back then? That's a crazy thing. It makes me worried because you know how often you see dead kill and roadkill and all that, dead on the road. You just think there's probably somebody pulling over and picking that up to date night later. I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. J Spray, I prefer mine warm. That is funny. That is funny. Me and WMM got a saying because we're always playing video games together and stuff. You know how like if you come flying into a situation, they say, oh, you're coming in hot. Well, our necrophilia joke is, I'm coming in cold. And that's a thinker. That's a thinker, but yeah. Yeah. Russell, they could put palletized seats in a C-130 and deport a lot more people. Yeah, they're just not allowed to. That's the big problem is they're not allowed to deport these people right now because they got to go through due process and all of that. So that means all of them got to go to court. They got to go before a judge. They have to be declared, ready for deportation and all of that. Then they can finally get them out. And that's what Tom Holman was saying. Like at random, this could take years. But if they get incarcerated and they go into jail and stuff, the process is a lot quicker. And so they need to actually respond when these border crossers are committing crimes. Instead of letting these assholes go, leave them in lockup and let process happen so they can turn around and deport them. Sam, they could just push them out the back. Yeah, you're not wrong. They could do that. Like I said, the reason I'm not president is because we would just shove them outside the gate and leave them there. That'd be it. We'd round up 25 million illegals, and we just put them on the outside of the gate and then close the door. And then, hey, they want to break in. It's not going to be like in the Biden years. They said right now, and I was kind of confused by this, but they said this during the press briefing. They said that the border crossings right now are the lowest they've ever been in American history. That they're down like 94% or 96% compared to the Biden years. But when President Trump was running for his second term, during this last campaign, he was claiming that during his first campaign or his first term, that there was 0 border crossings, that there was a time period where there was no one crossing the border illegally. And now they're saying it's just low numbers, which I don't know how low the low numbers are, but they're saying with it being down 96%, this is the lowest in history. Well, 96% is not 100%. President Trump had claimed that during the first term, it was 100%, no border crossers. So I'm confused on how that works, but I'm glad the border's closed. I will say that. Mike T, it sounds like a Rob Zombie movie. You're not wrong. Metal Mouth, now the judges want to uphold due process. Morons. Yeah, Metal Mouth. Yeah, they don't want to deal with BLMers, right? BLMers are burning cities down and shit, Antifa and all that. Well, the judges ain't got time to do it, so they just cut them loose. But then, the illegals and stuff, they're like, no, don't ship them out. We got to do due process. We got to paint their nails and make sure they have their hair did and all that. And I'm like, okay. 0. We didn't cover the whole press briefing. We just covered 6 minutes of it. I couldn't cover the press briefing. I had stuff I had to do earlier. What's up, Plastic Quack? Happy freedom to you. Viking Cat. I heard one guy was married to an American and was not a criminal. Well, that's the hard thing to tell about all this, Viking Cat, because the lefties are making claims that not everyone we're sending to El Salvador or whatever, that these illegals that are being kicked out aren't necessarily criminals. And that's kind of the tough thing, because if they've broken into the country illegally, they are criminals. Just coming here illegally makes them a criminal. But they're not the same kind of criminals as the ones who are kidnapping, raping, killing, stealing, doing all of that. And Blue News is constantly saying that not everybody being shipped out is actually committed crimes. They're saying that it even goes as far as having, we'll say, an individual is illegal, they have no legal status, they're being deported. One of the Border Patrol agents says, hey, this guy matches the identity of an illegal that was charged for murder and kidnapping and rape. And so this guy gets sent to El Salvador under the guise of he's a rapist, murderer, and all this other stuff. Blue News is saying that they're not validating that they're just picking people up and going, okay, this guy, he's a murderer, and then shipping them out and not validating it, which is why they're saying there's a problem with due process not happening, because they could potentially be sending innocent people to prison. Now, if they cross the border illegally, they're not innocent, but that doesn't mean they deserve to do 20 years in prison. Now, I don't know what a just punishment would be for crossing the border. I just would rather them get the hell out of the country. But that's the claim right now. So if we got 25 million illegals and I don't know where we're at right now, 37,000 have been deported or something like that. They're saying not all 37,000 are actually criminals. And we're sending them to Supermax in El Salvador when all they did was cross an invisible line. And so it's a real controversial thing. But the thing is that we don't know. We don't know. They're not really transparent with how this works. So I don't know. It's hard to say. But it is I guess a suggestion, a claim that has been popping up recently. What's up, Rich? Happy freedom to you. Cam. Exactly, they're criminals to a degree, supposedly also picking up associates that are also present. Yeah, and I can't remember what they call, collaterals. I think that's what they were calling them, as collaterals. So they got a guy in a state somewhere that's suspected of murder, and they're trying to find him, but anytime he gets arrested or stopped, the police just let him go because they know he's an illegal and stuff, so they just get rid of him. They just kick him out of the jail. So then ICE shows up. They can't go to the jail and pick him up because the jail's not holding him. So they got to go to places he's known to hang out. Well, then they go to a house. They kick the door in. They go inside. He's there, but he's hanging out with 9 other illegals. Now, the 9 other illegals haven't committed a crime other than breaking into the country. Well, all 10 of them are going to jail now. Like, they're all being detained by ICE, and they're all looking at deportation. And they're considering the 9 that are associated with the murderer is collaterals. And when we covered that, we also talked about the lefties' labels, right? They say, oh, these are asylum seekers. Oh, these are gotaways, or, you know, whatever. They're all illegals. They're just fancy little names meaning they're illegal. But now their new label is collaterals. So collaterals are illegals that haven't committed crimes outside of crossing the border illegally. And that's where we are with the lefty lingo, pretty much. J-Dog. I watched a video from Elon, and someone working under him with Doge, they found 30 million illegal border crossers were given Social Security cards under Biden and Obama. Yeah, I totally believe that. Zero, no due process for J6ers. Yeah, exactly. Sam, the lefties are educating the illegals on how to circumvent our legal system too. Yeah, and they need to be held accountable for that. I wonder who's going to, get off their ass and go do something about it. Elisa, can't validate people with no identity. Exactly. And see, and that's the thing. That's what's dumb about what the Democrats are saying right now. Is they're saying, oh, well, Tom Homan's picking up illegals and just pinning charges on them. Well, yeah, how do you know who the hell they are? Today they're Juan, but tomorrow they'll be, somebody else. His name will be Robert tomorrow. So it's like, that's the problem with being unidentified. Is that if somebody wants to pin shit on you, there's nothing you can do about it. We don't know who you are. You don't want that to happen to you? Don't come here illegally. It makes sense. This is the symptoms of your actions, right? So, it's like, it's not right to send someone to prison for 20 years for a crime they didn't commit. But they wouldn't be susceptible to this if they would have never broken into the country illegally. And that, that's how it goes. That's how it goes, making bad choices. But either way, like I said, we're going to get into this next video. This is Lefties Losing It. It's titled Tesla Vandals, FAFO, Face Instant Justice. Then after this, we're going to get into the fun stuff. All right, hooligans. Like I said, this is Lefties Losing It. Let's go ahead and get into this. But first, hit that like button over on Rumble as well as the GoofTube.
Now it's time for Lefties Losing It. Now, I presume this next item was an April Fool's Day joke, but apparently it's real. Kamala Harris is set to be paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to headline a real estate conference in Australia on the Gold Coast. And wowee, one of those land rats love hearing an inspirational speech from this fine orator.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? When we talk about our children, I know for this group, we all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community. We all watched the television coverage of just yesterday. It's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. But just limited to what we have seen.
Oh, gosh, I miss her. Now, you may have heard of the concept of FAFO, where you F around and find out. Well, this next dude found out all right. Here he is being confronted by the owner of the Tesla he vandalized, allegedly.
Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off
No,
with a towel.
no,
It's not
no.
a heat.
It is a hate crime, sir. It is a hate crime.
Listen,
Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
It didn't even work.
I'm sorry you're upset. It didn't even work. Really? These lefties are vile. Let's go back to that interaction and see if this guy understands that the FAFO equation is real. The more you F around, the more you're going to find out.
It's at the police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down.
I said, I'm sorry.
For what?
And I
For what?
apologize.
For what?
I have nothing against your car, and I have nothing against you.
So why
Okay?
would you write a swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the
So
way
Elon
to
Musk
show my...
owns that car because
No,
it was
he
bought
owns
and
the
paid
company.
for. It was bought and paid for a long time
That's
ago.
why it's misguided, and obviously, I did not intend to do this.
Oh, he didn't mean to do it. He doesn't like Elon Musk. He's since been charged with a number of offences, including criminal mischief and harassment. Now, this mindless vandalism from the left is nothing new, nor are attacks against cars. They've been doing it for years. It just wasn't directed exclusively to Teslas in the past. Here is an oldie but a goodie. A lefty caught keying a vehicle because it had a pro-Trump sticker. I think he's more scared of the wife than the cops. Imagine being married to this aging soy boy.
The green Toyota Tundra pickup truck that you walked up to, you don't remember what you did? What did you do to it?
I scratched it.
Why? Was it the bumper sticker? And she's got a sticker that says, "Let's go Brandon" or something.
Yeah, I guess it infuriated me.
That's the only reason you did it? You don't know who owns the truck or anything?
Yeah, that's the only reason I did it.
Was it a key?
No, it's my key fob. Yeah.
Do you know which key you used?
No, I have no idea.
I'm guessing you know it's expensive to repaint a truck.
I'm gonna have to repaint the truck.
Did you?
Stupid, idiotic, and I'm gonna get something in the truck. Get the fucking much up.
And you should.
Yeah. But, I made a stupid mistake.
Mr. Brothers, here's the unfortunate news. She wants to press charges, so I have to take you to jail, sir, so that you should turn around. When you damage someone's property over $1,000, it's a felony.
And Kevin we're training on here.
For a felony criminal mischief.
That's a felony?
It's about $6,000 to repaint the truck. He has to go to jail, and tomorrow morning he'll have first appearance in front of a judge.
Stupid.
And I regret to inform you that the awfuls are at it again. Awfuls, that stands for affluent white female lefties.
It's time to speak up. They're rolling back segregation. They are rolling back segregation. To be clear, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is still in place and has not been disbanded. But we know what their goal is. There is always step one in a process, and we absolutely know what their goal is.
She must think if you repeat something, it makes it true. Let's hear from this white saviour and her fever dreams about Trump bringing back segregation like he's some sort of Democrat.
This time, white people, we are the ones that are going to be on the front crossing that bridge. Do you hear me? We are the ones that are going to stand in the streets. Our black countrymen have done their time at the front of the lines, and it is our turn. It is our turn to face the water hoses and to face the dogs and to face the tear gas, because we have let this happen. Not on my watch.
Not on her watch, folks. Imagine being so unhinged with fantasies about the return of segregation. Do these people have jobs? By the way, that video has had millions of views, gone viral on TikTok and elsewhere. Perhaps this next lady saw this video because she seems rather animated and thinks she's going to encounter white-only signs across America.
Let me walk into a business and see a whites-only sign. I'm white. I'm about as white as they get. Look at how pale I am, man. And I will use every ounce of that white privilege I've got to absolutely up their day.
This next woman is perfectly okay with property being destroyed.
Destruction of property is a perfectly viable source of protest. No harming humans, obviously. Yeah. Human life is sacred no matter whose it is. But property these are just things. These are just cars.
They're just cars? I wonder if she'd call the cops if I destroyed her Subaru. And bad news, white men, these awfuls will not date you. I just hope you can cope with the devastation and pick up the shattered pieces of your life.
Friendly reminder, as a white American woman, I will no longer be dating white men. I'm looking for anything other than a white man, okay? Just a heads up.
Yes, these women are just heroes in their own lunchtimes, and they are so divorced from reality that they have no idea how awful they appear to normal people. Listen to this story.
I found out today that somebody that I work with is a conservative, and he's somebody who's really intelligent, and he's somebody who works in climate tech as a super smart guy, somebody I would never have thought was conservative, and apparently he is. And it's surprising, and it's disgusting. But what's most surprising to me is the level of sudden hatred that I have for him. Sudden hatred for this man who I used to respect suddenly just went boop, and I hate him now.
Now to 60 Minutes and Leslie Stahl, who is rightly being criticised for this absurd question to American-Israeli man Keith Segal, who was kidnapped and starved by Hamas terrorists.
I saw sexual assault with female hostages.
Keith says things got worse for him after Aviva was released and that early ceasefire collapsed.
The terrorists became very mean and very cruel and violent.
More so?
Much more so. They were beating me and starving me.
Do you think they starved you or they just didn't have food?
No, I think they starved me, and they would often eat in front of me and not offer me food.
What in God's name was she thinking? Yes, the Hamas terrorists don't have food, Leslie. Do any of them look emaciated at their sick hostage handover rallies? Joining me now is Sky News contributor.
All right. That is Lefties losing it there. The terrorists became really mean. Oh, did they? Did they? I thought there was nice terrorists out there. Like, what kind of language is that? Oh, those terrorists, they just started getting really mean. You understand what a terrorist is, bud? They're not nice people. Stupid. Anyways, like I said, that's the last little bit of the news. We're going to get into the fun stuff in just a moment. We got two funny videos of the day. First one's titled Burchett Hurting Feelings. Then our official funny video of the day is Every Time I Hear Lefties Speak. Now, we're not going to open today's door from the advent calendar because I moved everything because I don't want my tax paperwork to smell like really good whiskey. And so I moved everything. So today we're going to be skipping today's door of the advent calendar, but we'll be back with it tomorrow, so don't you worry. Either way, all this fun stuff is coming up next, but first we're going to read through the chat, see what you hooligans think about these idiot lefties. Say I'm an oxymoron? Yeah, nice terrorist. Yeah, never heard one of those. Russell, well, the left does hate. Yeah, she's like, oh, well, I found out that my coworker's a conservative, so I hate him. Oh, all right. Damn. What a miserable life it sounds like. Josh 1776, anarchy. Yeah. Russell, destroy all Subarus. Mine destroys itself. Bill Clay, send your taxes in an envelope shaped like a middle finger. I'd like to. I'd like to. Metal Mouth, when does Burchett not hurt feelings? I was not impressed with him rubbing elbows with, what is her name? Jasmine Crockett. But otherwise, he makes some sense out there. Hidu, well, yeah, they sent the hostages home with goodie bags, just like they were at the gala. Yeah, Hidu. Mike T, would you marry that? No. Mary Todd because she's programmed to hate. Yep. Her blue leaders told her so. Metamouth. What? She doesn't realize the destruction of property is a felony? No, they're all a bunch of idiots. And she thinks men want her. I don't understand that at all. It's always liberal women with their head shaved talking about how they're not going to give it up to men. Like, yeah, you look like us, but you think we want to bang you. Like, no, that's not at all. Not at all. Why is everybody saying the one person looks like Jeff in drag? Hold on, let me pull this video up because I didn't see that shit. Which one was it? Let me see. Let me see here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to spot it or not. You ain't talking about this, is it? Is this it? That's not me, okay? It's not me. I know my eyelashes are banging, but nah, that ain't it. That is not I. There is only one of me. God made me, and he was like, well, that's enough of that. And so that was it. One's enough. He do? Well, let me see. Now I can't find it. This? Oh, yeah, it's close. I mean, I got a nose, but it ain't like that. Like that. She's got that, oh, I can't. What is the name? What's the dusty old man from Christmas that hates everything and got visited by the ghosts and all that shit? Scrooge? That's her nose right there. I don't know. A little water goes a long way with these lefties. Anyways, reading through, we'll get into the fun stuff. I don't think the world's ready for another Jeff. Nah, I don't think so. I've never even seen a doppelganger. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the day. We're going to fight. We're going to fight. As soon as we see each other, we're both going to have the same idea. We're going to fight. There can only be one. That's a Beavis and Butthead nose? Yeah, DeRosa. That's a perfect description. Red Wagon the Subaru comment? I know. They didn't have to bring Subarus into this. Guess who? Sky News has some of the most base content. They need a US branch. Yeah, but we covered something Saturday, I think it was, and they were hating on President Trump. They were talking bad about him. I was pretty surprised at that. Cinderella, she's a witch. Mm-hmm. Alex King, I don't think she has a car. I don't think so either. Wayward, a hooliganger. Yeah, I've never seen a hooliganger. Sam, I know. I don't know where Alistair's been. He's been busy. Hair juicer, my friend found a doppelganger on TikTok. It was crazy. Wish I could have found the guy. I'm trying to think. Somebody showed me a wrestler, and I think that was the closest to a doppelganger I've ever seen. Plastic Quack, she had fetal alcohol syndrome. I mean, either that or that's just how she did her makeup, you know. Mike T, too much fluoride. That's what it is. All right, hooligans, we're going to get into the fun stuff here. Like I said, we got two funny videos of the day. But before we get into this, I want to remind you, hooligans, really quick. If you would like to support the live to keep us running, you're welcome to use that Linktree link in the description in order to send donations. You can do that by using PayPal, Cash App, Stripe, Locals, Buy Me a Coffee, or you can even send crypto. Like I said, we got these funny videos. Let me get this stuff pulled up really quick. All right. Let's see. This first one is titled Burchett Hurting Feelings.
Congressman Perry, do you trust Trump's national security team to keep our war plans top secret?
Do you trust your mother every night to fix your hot pockets and make sure your Game Boy is turned on?
The guy just walks away. Smoked him. Now, if you don't like the fuck word, you are not going to like this next video. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So you're going to have to mute it if you can't handle the fuck word. Let me see. Let's get this pulled up. Yes, this one right here. I was actually tagged in this one. I like it. This is titled Every Time I Hear Lefties Speak.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up. Everyone.
Oh my god, I love that video. Ah, that's good stuff. That is good stuff. Well, hooligans, that is all the coffee I had for you guys today. I'm going to drop this Linktree link in all of the chats. We're going to read through, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. DeRosa clutching his hot pocket. Mm-hmm. All right, there we go. There is the Linktree link where all of my links are listed. So if you'd like to make donations, join membership programs, or purchase any merch, would really appreciate it. All of your guys' contributions keep us running every day except for Sunday, because we got to have a day to recharge those batteries. Definitely go join Discord. Discord is our free hooligan community. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. The hooligans are there, keeping the conversation going 24/7, and we have 2 news boards to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. So definitely go join Discord. If you're feeling real saucy, go join jeffmaclive.com. Over on the website, it is the best way to experience the live. Our built-in chat has more ability than any other platform. You can post memes and GIFs and custom emojis and links and all kinds of stuff right there while watching the live. You will also have access to Hooligans Alley. You'll have access to the forums. You'll have access to the arcade. You will also have access to our advanced messaging system with the built-in group chats that gives you the ability to text each other, call each other, video call each other, group texting, group calling, group video calling, and more. jeffmaclive.com is the home of the hooligans, so definitely go get yourself a membership. Like I said, we're going to read through really quick, and we got the Pledge of Allegiance coming up next. Holy, Russell, I can't read that out loud till Saturday, but yes. Rappy, that was a good one. I know. Let me see who tagged me. I think it was Kevin. Let me see. Come on, brain. Discord. I am so damn tired. I don't know how I'm going to do my taxes. I'll be awake all damn night again. Oh, it was Stoner, I think. No, it wasn't Stoner. Hold on. Somebody tagged me in this damn video. I'm so damn tired I couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag right now. Oh, it was Handicapable. That's who tagged me. That's a good one. It was a good one. Hey, thank you for being here, Metal Mouth. Hey, thank you for being here, Viola. Hooligans Island. No, that was Timber Chat. All right, hooligans. I think we were good to go. Zero, tomorrow's Liberation Day. Yeah, we're putting tariffs on a bunch of countries and stuff tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. All right, hooligans. It's time to do the thing. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we did the thing. Come on, beats on, beats off. Anyways, we're going to read through the chat one last time just to make sure no hooligans are left behind, but we will be live again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Like I said, we're going to read through them. We're wrapping her up. Hey, thank you for being here, 10 Man. Thanks for being here, Hair Juicer. Thank you, Ghostly. Really appreciate the donation over on Rumble. You're badass. Thank you. Says, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. That's right, Ghostly. Appreciate you. Thank you, Pumpkin. You're the bestest. Thank you, MU. I'll try too old to care. It's tax time. I can't stand it. This is the worst part of the year. There's two parts of the year that make me just want to rip my eyes from the sockets. It's tax time, and then when I got to do the damn paperwork for my apartment. Can't stand it. I dread it all year. Can't stand it. Thanks for being here, Sam. Thank you, Zero. Thanks for being here, Meta. What's up, Kirk Allen? Happy freedom to you. Thank you, Gen X. Appreciate you, Itchy. Hey, thank you for being here, Wayward. Zero, give it a chance for the replay to process because we had to reset the live like 3 times. So Rumble will take like 25-30 minutes and eventually it'll just paste it all together, so it'll just be one live. But you gotta give it enough time. Otherwise it'll just play. I don't even know how much time we've been live in this last effort, but you'll just see the same thing looping over if you don't give it enough time for the replay. But I appreciate you, Zero. Thank you, Rappy. Thank you, Fresca Bean. Thank you, Cinderella. Cam, I know why they're confused, because they had everybody that was in opposition to their beliefs labeled as a terrorist. Yeah, I suppose, Cam. All right, I think we are good to go. You hooligans, have a good day. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Like I said, we will be live again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time for the very next Coffee with Hooligans. Huge shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership programs, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate all of you hooligans, and I wouldn't be able to do any of this if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much for all your support, and I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.